Welcome to all of you here today on behalf of all our hosts, and I'm going to name all of them. But before that, I wanted to, as always, raise a big salute to Chennai, because it's only this city that can give up on an evening of cricket and religion and pujas and festivals and turn up in 600 people on a Sunday to listen to a man who's at the heart of politics.
Good evening. Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
So, Prashant, I would have loved to drop you straight into the hot water that everyone is waiting to, see you dissect. But I'm going to start a little bit softer, which is to first ask you about this 1 year that you've been on the road in Bihar. What are the insights? What were you really looking for when you went on this Padyatra? What are the insights that you've got there, and in what critical way has it changed you?
Well, I don't think audience here is much interested in what I'm doing in Bihar. For all what people talk, nobody is interested. People think I'm done and dusted, disappeared from the scene. They are more interested to know what is going to happen in Tamil Nadu in next elections, who is going to win India, and probably take a call, political or otherwise. I come from a very humble background. My grandfather was a simple laborer, and my father was a government doctor. I, like all other kids, have started my journey with a government school in Bihar, which is one of the most impoverished setting and probably the worst education system you can think of. And from there, we were lucky to get through, went to work with United Nations for about 10 years. And by training, I'm a public health person, have worked in India, then went to US, spent about 4 or 5 years in Africa. And at some stage, I realized that what I'm doing in Africa, when I look at the indicators in India, many parts of India looks probably worse than what we see and talk about in Africa. So in my own way, I thought, okay, I should go back and see what can be done. And that quest brought me back to India. I happened to meet Mr. Modi at that time, and this story has been narrated, so I don't want to go over it. And I came back in 2011, and I quit the space in 2021. You were talking about my ability to work with various leaders and somewhat being successful in it. I don't know whether it's a slap or it's a compliment.
Why
Depends.
do you say that?
No, because people can have perspective that this is a guy who he's a gun for hire, he's a mercenary, he has no idea, he has no ideology, he just comes and makes people win. And then also people complain when you are not happy with the government who probably I have helped or to win, people crib, and they crib more about me than those who they have elected. So if DMK does something wrong, people will send, even still on my timelines, even though I have quit the space 2 years, I have not come to Tamil Nadu, or for that matter, as a matter of principle, I have never gone to any state after I win the election. Even I have followed that rule, still people give all kind of throw abuses. If there is an atrocities in Bengal, people will say the man responsible is Prashant Kishor. If Amrinder Singh did something wrong in Punjab, people are saying the man who need to be brought back to Punjab is Prashant Kishor. He is the one who has done this. So that's a casual part of it. The 10 years I did that, and then I realized that it's not necessarily taking me where I want to be. Not to say the great importance and the value which I actually believed in when I worked. Take, for example, in Tamil Nadu, for all the welfare program, the mother of all welfare program is now 1,000 rupees transfer to the women, which is happening now. And this was something which we designed. The same thing is happening in West Bengal. Bengal is less rich, so they are transferring 500 rupees. So there has been a lot of good things to take from that, but for me individually, I thought, no, I should move on. And in general, I keep this 10-year cycle in my life. 10 years I was in United Nations. 10 years exactly what I did, what you call political strategist and all. And then I thought, no, I want to do something else. So I went to my own state, which is Bihar, which is the most challenging, impoverished, politically and otherwise. And what I'm trying to do there is to demonstrate, learn and demonstrate that there is a way to create a political party and a system which comes from bottom up. A lot of people, including my family, think I've gone crazy. Sometimes even I feel myself. But I'm determined that I want to do this over the next 5, 6, 8, 10 years. And the inspiration comes from what Mahatma Gandhi did, and we learn and talk about it. The Satyagraha in Paschim Champaran, again in Bihar. The Champaran Satyagraha per se did not give us the independence. Over 1.5 years of that effort by Mahatma Gandhi demonstrated and give the belief across the country that there is a new way of fighting Britishers. So that's what my goal is, that to create a political party, not by myself, but help people create a party and make that party successful electorally and otherwise, so that it becomes the case for everybody else beyond Bihar to get inspired and do their job.
Right.
So what I have learned, that probably India is, or parts of Bihar is far more poor and distressed than what I ever knew and believed or read about, even though I am born and brought up in that state. What I learn is, even though you spend all your life in a district, probably you have not known or seen the periphery of your district. So I'm learning and I'm committed. It will take about 3 years. It's not a yatra by vehicle. It's also not a typical padyatra where you walk from point A to point B. I'm determined to walk 3 years on foot, going and living in villages. So this is the first event. After 13 months, I am out of Bihar. I have come here to speak because you have been like nagging, and there was a commitment which I had to come here to meet somebody. So this will continue, and it has bored people like how long you will walk? Oh, he has been walking 1 year, nothing is coming out. Rahul Gandhi is so good, he walked the whole India in 6 months. Prashant Kishor is such a big fool that in 6 months he has walked only 40% of Bihar. The difference is that I'm not only walking, I stay the night in the village. And I stay with close to 250 people. We interact, we meet, we understand the village problem, the panchayat, and we make a 10-year plan that how that particular village or panchayat could be made better on 3 counts. One is education. Second is creating 800 to 1,200 jobs, because as you know, in Bihar, migration is very big problem. And third, how we can make agriculture a bit more financially rewarding. So these 3 things, and beyond whatever else comes, the sadak nahi hai, pani nahi hai, but basically planning for each panchayat, that how, if we get a chance in next 10 years, we can make a panchayat deliver on these 3 counts at least.
So, as I said, we are going to move to all the hot topics, but even if the audience, which I don't think they are, because we are interested in you as a person as well, is that, are you getting a good response? And, when you were saying that you want to build a party ground up, would you be offended if I said that, that the AAP began in the same way and Arvind Kejriwal tried to do that as well?
No, I will take a great offense, because this whole idea of what I'm doing, if anything, it is inspired by Congress as it existed before independence, where it was not owned by somebody. It was not led by an individual. It was not a party of a family. It was not party of a community. And the best part about that Congress was the democracy, the internal democracy. To my mind, that is something which we don't talk enough. Having worked with all these parties, the biggest problem is the lack of internal democracy in all parties. Just to highlight the point, somebody as big as Mahatma Gandhi was president of Indian National Congress only once in his lifetime. Now, if you become president of the party, you remain all your life, then your son becomes, then his son becomes, and that is a very big compromise on democracy. And it is not only because an individual called X or Y is putting his or her family above other things. It is the way those parties are formed. Even if they choose not to put their son, they will put somebody who they believe in. Yeah. You cannot be having a democratic process to elect the leader of the party. So what I'm trying to do is to probably recreate how a political party could be formed by people and run by them, despite the limitations of, a lot of people not necessarily being educated and motivated and all. But that's the effort and that's the challenge.
So
Arvind Kejriwal never did that. He came, the party, Aam Aadmi Party, came out of this Anna Andolan. I'm not a believer of Andolan. I don't believe in Andolans and Krantis. If you read and understand the human history, not about Tamil Nadu or India or Bihar, across the globe, but for the exception of French Revolution, there has not been a single revolution which has brought substantial, sustainable gain to the human being, ever.
So, and you would distinguish the independence movement as a movement, not a...
It's a movement. It was not to throw... See, what others were doing versus Gandhi. Gandhi never said that throw away the Britishers. When many people in the country were fighting to throw away the Britishers, Gandhi was telling that become self-reliant, less dependent on others. Oh, apna latrine saaf karo, apna kapda bino. Unless you build that character, the independence what other countries saw in the same time zone in late 40s, 50s, 60s, none of those countries could see a sustained, well-functioning democracy but for countries like India. And the credit, a lot of people give it to Pandit Nehru. Probably it's due, some part of it. But the credit should go to the manner in which this country got its independence under Gandhi, which did not only secured us this independence, it also prepared us to live independent.
Yeah,
and the greatest example is his withdrawal of Chora Chori after the
burning of the
civil
police
disobedience,
station.
When everyone thought that if he would have continued with civil disobedience for probably a few more weeks, country would have got the independence. Still, he withdrew it to a lot of criticism. But probably that helped us prepare ourselves to be and remain independent for times to come.
I'm going to come back to this, Prashant, to actually delve deeper into what your own thought process, your own value system and ideology is. But let's shift gears.
Now tell me who is going to Tamil Nadu.
Yes.
That's the question coming. Before audience goes to sleep.
Yes.
You better ask.
Let's shift gear first to the upcoming elections and then to the national election in 2024, which everybody is very interested in. And especially after the formation of the India opposition bloc, you have been very critical, saying that you don't see any real energy or any real power within that bloc to take on the BJP. So, we'll come back to Tamil Nadu politics. Let's go for the big one right away, which is, what is your analysis of 2024? Do you think that this is a done deal for the BJP? And why are you so critical of the India formation?
Not been critical of India formation. And I don't have an analysis because I am not actively involved in that domain any longer.
This is first day, first show, flop show.
No, I'm saying that I'm not actively involved. Having said so, I can only repeat what I have been talking for now 2-3 years. You cannot defeat BJP or for that matter any party unless you understand what is their strength. What is the strength of BJP? It's not necessarily Mr. Modi or Amit Shah or RSS. They are winning elections because of 4 things. Yeah. One, the ideological base, which is Hindutva. Second, what Mr. Modi has added as an additional lever is this hyper or neo-nationalism. India has become the Vishwaguru. We have arrived. Whether it's G20 or, the great
Right.
show he puts outside India. Third is this direct beneficiaries, the Labharthi, as they say in Hindi. And fourth is the organizational and financial muscle which they bring. Now, if you're taking on BJP, whether you are India, whether you are DMK, whether you call it yourself whatever, unless you beat them on at least 3 of the 4, you are not going to have much chance to defeat them. Yeah. And I give you the example why in a state elections, assembly elections, BJP does relatively worse than what they do in national election, is because Hindutva is the same. But the nationalism can be countered, is not an issue during assembly election. Assembly election, the sub-regionalism is a big counter to nationalism, that Tamil Nadu should be ruled by Tamilians, Bengal should be ruled by Bengalis. Then this hyper-nationalism doesn't work, that, for India you have to vote. The Labharthi, the Dravidian model could have their own Labharthi model, the direct transfer, the empowerment, and all those things, versus what Modi is doing. So there is still a counter. And organizational muscle also, you see, a lot of regional parties have got both in terms of cadre as well as the financial resource to take on BJP. That is why you see the same BJP with same leadership.
Losing in state elections.
Their vote share on an average goes down between 3 to 7 percentage point vis-a-vis the Lok Sabha elections. It's because on these 3 counts, the regional parties or the strong state units are able to take BJP head on. At national level, coming back to your question on India, I don't think they have been able to put a counter to the ideological Hindutva narrative. I have not seen anything from India on this nationalism thing. On the Labharthi also, they have not shared their program. And organizational muscle remains standalone power they have, like DMK would have something in Tamil Nadu. But I do not see how a Mamata Banerjee joining that bloc could create synergy with DMK in Tamil Nadu or vice versa. So whether the only achievement they have is they have called themselves from UPA now to India. And that itself has a good thing. It has captured some imagination. There were a lot of chatter. But you see, in last 4 months, effectively what they have done. They have done 3 meetings where people just assemble. They have tea, coffee, some talk. And before you know what is the agenda, they are all running away to their own state. If they were serious, what as an alliance they have achieved in 4 months, just think about if they would have put themselves in 3 days, they would have achieved the same result. And they would have been covered a lot more ground to put a formidable challenge to BJP. If somebody like Rahul Gandhi can go on a 6-day trip to Europe, if Mamata Banerjee can go to Spain for 7 days, why can't these India core leaders of India Alliance can sit 7 days and straight away sort out the issue that what is going to be our narrative, what the seat arrangements are going to be, how we are going to communicate, and how are we going to build synergy with each other. Now, why it should take forever? And if it takes, then results will show that you are not going to be very successful.
So Prashant, I've heard you analyze this now, as you said, over a couple of years, not in relation to India, but you have repeatedly said this, that we need a new narrative, there needs organization, there needs energy. And of course, I want to share with the audience that the one thing that's very common, people often say, how did you do this? How did you architect a victory for different parties? If we analyze you, Prashant, the 2 or 3 common things that you've brought to every party that you've allied with, one is discipline, 2 is extreme, wonderful bouts of energy. The energy that you've put into every party that you have allied with or helped advise is amazing. And the third, which is again, I'm surprised that political parties miss that. If you look at what you did with the DMK or with Mamata Banerjee or with Mr. Modi or with any of them, was direct contact with people. 80,000 villages in UP, 5 lakh workers with the DMK, direct contact, grievance box, Didi ke bolo. So there's been that direct contact that you build with everybody. So I agree with you, your criticism that It does not
It's not a criticism, it's my assessment.
yeah,
Who am
assessment,
who am
assessment.
I to criticize? These are very big leaders.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
know much better than Prashant Kishor.
We'll drop the humilities, you know.
No,
let
no.
it-
I'm telling you, who am I to advise Rahul Gandhi?
Yeah, yeah.
He knows everything. Except for winning elections.
Okay. Yeah. So wait. So I want to put you a little bit on the block right now.
And I'm not being humble. Now people know.
So, Prashant, I want to put you a little bit on the spot. You have been saying this everywhere. You know, you've analyzed this. But I once had an interview with Mr. Raghuram Rajan during COVID when he was really critiquing or assessing the Modi government's economic policies. And I pushed him to say, what would you do if you were in that seat? So today, Prashant, I really do want you to analyze. You know, you've been saying this Hindutva versus Hinduism is not an answer. So then let's go step by step with these three things. What do you think is an answer to the Hindutva ideology that the BJP has put out? If the Hinduism is not, and you have also said that 1 out of every 2 Hindus do not vote for the BJP, and you have data for that. But these are also Hindus who are quite proud to be Hindu. In the past, the secularism project had divorced people from their own cultural, emotional moorings. So I feel that maybe it is a good, it's a good counter, but you've been saying it's not. So then what's your answer?
You don't need to be super intelligent to know what is the counter. Just look at the pure data. In India, we have 80% Hindus. And you're so scared of BJP and their Hindutva and all. So let's see what proportion of Hindus are mesmerized or are taken by the idea of Hindutva as BJP portrays it, rather than getting into the argument whether that's a soft Hindutva or hard Hindutva, whether it's Hinduism or Hindutva. I don't want to get into that debate. Let's take whoever is voting as an Hindu inspired by the Hindutva ideology of BJP. What is the proportion? So out of, last time BJP got 38% vote. Any elementary student of maths, a student of an elementary maths can tell you that if out of 80%, BJP got 38%, meaning less than half of Hindus voted for BJP. Now all you need to do is to look at who are the Hindus who have not voted for BJP. Sometime we look at, oh, Tamil Nadu ke Hinduon ne vote nahi kiya. People from Tamil Nadu did not, Hindus of Tamil Nadu has not voted, Hindus from Odisha has not voted. Some people try to understand it by caste, that which caste of a Hindu community has not voted for BJP. I look at it ideologically, because you are trying to build an ideological counter. So I look, which is this 50% Hindus who are not voting for BJP? Primarily, they are followers of 4 ideology. One, who believe in Gandhiism. Whoever are the staunch followers of Gandhi, they are not convinced with the idea of Hindutva as put forward by BJP. Second, those who believe in the communism. They are also not going to go with BJP. Third, those who are the believers of Ambedkar, the Ambedkarites. They are not going with BJP. And fourth, the original socialists are also not convinced with this new Hindutva narrative. If you put this fourth together, then you know what could be the ideological counter. And within these 4, the glue is Gandhi. Because the history tells us that he could brought the socialists, the communists, the Ambedkarites, and those who followed his ideology all together. So the counter, if you have to build, you have to start any leader or any dispensation or any coalition who is able to broadly bring together the followers of these 4 ideology would be able to put a very formidable challenge to BJP. And it's not my assessment for future. This is what data is telling us. So I would try to bring this 4 together. Now, if you see whether a Congress party or a DMK or India is trying to do that, no. Where are all Gandhians in India who are coming together? Where are all Ambedkarites joining India Forum? Where are all socialists coming together? It's not happening. So that's what I'm saying. You need to, rather than a leader from state X and state Y sitting together, because they cannot build synergy unless they found common ground. And the common ground could be this ideology, rather than just saying that we want to defeat BJP.